Welcome back to Have a Day Podcast. I'm your host, Brian McRae. Be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms and on our YouTube channel at Have a Day Podcast. Our guest today is a friend of mine. I've known him for almost 40 years, or close to 40 years. Chris Browne. He is now the Vice President of Sponsorships for the American Association of Professional Baseball, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But first, we'll start off with some quick hitters, a little Q&A, get the ball rolling here. You went to MIZZOU.
MIZZOU, baby.
And this is a MIZZOU question.
All right.
What year did Missouri win the College World Series?
Well, you got me here.
And their Hall of Fame basketball coach was part of that team.
Norm Stewart.
Norm Stewart was part of that team.
I'm going to say 45 in the 40s.
You got that numbers right, but they're mixed. 1954. Yeah, they beat Rollins College. They lost their first game of the College World Series and went on to win the rest that year. And they were World Series champions in 1954. I
had the pleasure of taking the coaching of basketball while I went to MIZZOU, and it was taught by, actually, Norm Stewart. So big baseball player and great Hall of Famer.
Okay, number 2. So you're 0 for 1 there. Your son, Brett, is named after George Brett. How many career hits did George Brett have?
That one's easy, so maybe I still have a chance to have a day. George had 3,154.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Give you a couple of easy ones here. Another Royals question. Since you worked for the Royals for 7 years in the clubhouse and as a bat boy, what year did the Royals switch to a grass playing surface?
Well, that was after my time, and I want to say that was 1994 or 95.
It was after the 94 season,
it was
95 season. After the strike year, they went to natural grass, which they still have today. So I'll give you that one. All right. What city in the U.S., lower 48 states, is the biggest by land mass?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville, Florida, where you were with the Jacksonville Suns. It's 8,459 square miles, or 840, or not 8,000, 840 square miles of land mass. It's the biggest in the lower 48.
My Uncle John taught me that years ago when I lived and worked in Jacksonville. Yeah.
That's a cool city. It's different. It's not like the rest of Florida.
It's really underrated.
But it's not a bad city at all.
Yeah.
Okay, and your last one. You came on with the T-Bones, now the Monarchs, in 2008. Your first year there, right?
Well, as GM was 2008.
As GM in 2008.
I was hired in August of 2002. But
right. You've been there since 2002, but your first year as GM.
Correct.
What was their record?
Well, we won the championship in 2008. However,
but didn't have a good regular season record.
Right. And it's let's see, Andy McCauley was our manager, and I want to say we were 46 and 48, or 48 and 50. 46 and 50.
Yeah.
Okay. We got,
but didn't go on
half.
But did go on to win the championship there, and that was 2 that you were part of with the T-Bones, now Monarchs.
Yeah, we went to 3, and I'll just say real quick, that was back when there was the minor league. You had 2 halves. So we struggled in the first half, and we got hot in the second half. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll give you 3.5 or 5 or that.
3 for 4, have a day. That's okay. I'll take that.
Yeah, you'll take that. Yeah. So, Chris, now that you're vice president of sponsorship for the American Association of Professional Baseball, you had 30 years experience, 23 as an exec. Take us through your journey to get to where you are now, and what was your drive?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brian. Of course, it's great to be here, by the way, and on your podcast. It's exciting, and glad to be part of it, following, I think, Jamie Bluma and Bobby Dernier, amongst others that have sat in this chair. So, yeah, as you mentioned, I was fortunate enough to be a bat boy and clubhouse kid with the Royals in high school and college. And in fact, you were actually many of those years in uniform as well, albeit we had different roles. You were playing center field and I was picking up bats. But, I was a bat boy, clubhouse kid, clubhouse attendant, 7 or 8 years back when the Royals were very good in baseball, and I was a big baseball fan. Of course, I wanted to be the next George Brett or the next great player, and I realized that wasn't going to happen pretty quick. And then at one time, I thought I'm going to be the next Denny Matthews or Kevin Harlan and hold the microphone. And I'll never forget, as a young bat boy working every day in the summer, all season long, I would see this guy come down to the clubhouse. He was dressed all nice. And I would see him on the field for batting practice, and I would see him sitting in the dugout talking to the manager, and he was, again, dressed nice. And instead of holding the microphone, everybody came to him, and they put a microphone in his face. And it was John Sherrills, who was vice president and general manager. And, I figured if I couldn't be George Brett and I couldn't be Kevin Harlan or Denny Matthews, I wanted to be John Sherrills because I thought he had the coolest job. He got to talk to the media, pick the manager, help put the players together, make trades, pick out the championship rings. I thought that was the coolest job. So
he was the architect.
He was the architect, yeah,
to the organization.
So I wanted to get involved, and my career kind of took off from there. Obviously, had to work hard, and I remember keeping my ears open, my eyes open, and my mouth shut, and just learning a lot, taking it all in from players, from owners, from front office people, broadcasters, and just trying to take the next step so I could learn and grow in this business.
So you go to MIZZOU.
Yep. And
after your time at MIZZOU, it's kind of like a minor league baseball player working your way up. You find yourself with the Jacksonville Suns in Jacksonville, Florida, and you don't know a whole lot about that city, or how did that all transpire?
Yeah, great time at MIZZOU studying sports management. They were just starting the sports administration program there. So I was able to graduate with a degree there. And then at the time, I had relatives and friends that lived in Jacksonville, and they had a minor league ball club there, the Jacksonville Suns. And thinking about it growing up, they were the Royals farm club for many, many years. In fact, I always say almost every famous Royal played there at some point in their career. Except
most of the guys on the '85 team came through, because they hadn't moved to Memphis yet for Double A.
Yeah, which is where you ended up playing. But so I knew about Jacksonville that way. The franchise was owned by Peter Bragan, the famous Bragan family. Again, I had family down there. So I while I'm down there visiting, I walk in one day and kind of apply to be an intern. And, lo and behold, 3 months later, they hired me full time. And I think I spent 4 or 5 years down there. And I'll never forget, I had some great bosses, Peter Bragan, Jay Grider, who now runs the Music City Bowl, Todd Budnick, who worked in the PGA down there. And I learned a lot of things, a lot of what to do and what not to do. And it was really the foundation that got me involved and helped me learn minor league baseball.
What are some of your favorite memories of working with that Jacksonville franchise? And that was in the Southern League.
We were in the Southern League
which is Double A. Yeah. And if you don't know, it's rookie ball, A ball, Double A, Triple A is how the progression goes. But most of the prospects on big league teams, they play in Double A.
Yep.
So you get the top prospects, the first round picks. You get the guys that are touted to be the next big thing coming up through the ranks.
Yeah, most definitely. And I was fortunate enough in Jacksonville at the time, we were the affiliate for the Seattle Mariners for a couple of years, and then mainly the Detroit Tigers when I was there. But for example, with Seattle, we had A-Rod. He played in Jacksonville for a little bit. So I have a signed baseball from Alex Rodriguez. That's where he started.
Before he was
something. Yeah. Yep. And Phil Nevin was with the Jacksonville Suns later on. But, great memories there. We won one championship. My first ring was from 96 in the Southern League. Larry Parrish was our manager, longtime big leaguer. Great friends and memories there. Also, though, I think it was 95, Michael Jordan played in the Southern League for the Birmingham Barons, and he came to our park a couple different trips, 6 and 7 game
What
series.
kind of a zoo was that?
It was crazy. We had people roped off in the outfield, old minor league style. You remember those from exhibition games. It was nonstop. And, of course, back then there's no the ticketing system is not automated. It's phone calls and people at the window nonstop. I mean, that once he was announced he was going to Double-A in Birmingham, that was in the Southern League. We were sold out, and to be sold out in the minor leagues, I know they do it now, but back then it didn't happen a lot.
No, you only were sold out maybe for opening day, Memorial Day, 4th of July,
fireworks,
some of your special events. But to have crowds like that. You're counting your blessing. You don't even care how he plays. You just hope he comes there.
Yeah, and he played, I think, almost all the games. I'll never forget my friend to this day. He's still the PA voice, John Leard of the Jacksonville. Now they're the Jumbo Shrimp. They got sold a couple years ago, but he's from Chicago, and he had the joy of announcing Michael Jordan up to bat at Wolfson Park, and never forget that. But the crowds were nuts. We also, though, the thing that I think helped me get my start there was, and I think you were on the team, in 1993 was the exhibition game between the Florida Marlins and the Royals in Jacksonville. We played 2 games there, and we hosted the Royals and the Marlins. And I think the fact that I worked for Kansas City, there was a tie there. And I know that was one of the first things, and we all went out post game, but I'll never forget, after that game, George Brett walks down to the front office, and he's not looking to go out and go downtown. He's asking where Chris Browne is, and he took me out to dinner and my family and girlfriend at the time, and just some great memories in Jacksonville. And again, learned a lot. And I still talk to Peter Bragan on a regular basis, the former owner. In fact, saw him last summer. So what a time, what a town, and some great contacts and lifelong friends from that, and learned a little bit along the way.
And you wanted to get back to the Midwest.
Yep.
So you get back to Kansas City, and you have a unique opportunity. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's mid-'90s. I want to get back to Kansas City, and I'd been working in minor league baseball now for 4 or 5 years, learned a lot, built up my resume, had a degree in sports administration. But, at the time, the jobs I wanted, say, with the Kansas City Royals, I wasn't ready for. They weren't open. There was no jobs with the Kansas City Chiefs that I could qualify for. So one of the first jobs that was open was with, at the time, Kansas City Attack Soccer Club, and later the famous Kansas City Comets, but basically same deal. Well, around that time, they were recently under new ownership, and it just so happens that their owner was neighbors of George Brett. And if you think back in the day, back then, there's no texting, there's no emails per se, there's no social media. So
fax.
There's a fax and mail. So I called George Brett and I said, "Hey, there's an opening, and I understand Don and Patty Kincaid are your neighbors. Can I send you my resume? Would you do that for me?" And of course, George says yes. And again, I got the job because my resume and qualifications. The ball is different, but the ball in the field is different, but the business is the same. Administration, marketing, ticket sales, operations, corporate sales, et cetera. So I got it on my resume, but it probably didn't hurt that George Brett hand-delivered the resume of mine to my neighbor in person. And I ended up getting the call and was hired shortly thereafter. So it was nice to come home. But a story I'll never forget.
You learned a lot about soccer.
Yeah.
Made some good friends there.
Yeah, I had some great times. I was basically a year or so in, I became the assistant general manager, and Zoran Savic was the longtime CEO, and he was the head coach. So I basically ran the office day to day, worked with the arena staff, help schedule, help work with our marketing team and our group sales folks, and boy, again, learned a whole lot. Didn't know much about soccer, but I learned, and it
didn't matter that you didn't.
Yeah.
Zoran was great with you.
Yep. He was a great, I remember we worked so many days and nights back then at a young age at the arena every day. Learned a lot from him. Doug Greenwald, a mutual friend of ours, was our director of marketing and group sales, and Doug went on to do great things with the Kansas City Royals radio network and also WHB Radio in Learfield down the road. What a great friend and advisor to me, and he was on our staff. Learned so much from him. So, yeah, it was a great run. We won, fortunate enough to win a couple of rings there too as well. But again, learned the business, and so thankful for the opportunity, and it propelled me to the next thing. And
then T-Bones, that job came along, and you wanted to get back in baseball. That's what you want to do, and you had an opportunity. And you get back in baseball with, at that point, the Northern League, right?
Yeah. Northern League Baseball announced that they were moving a team from Duluth, Minnesota to Kansas City. And at the time, I think it was going to be in Olathe or KCK. And I remember I had a meeting in August of '02. The team broke ground on the stadium September of '02, and I was hired. I was one of the first employees hired, and we opened the season in June of 2003. It was a quick, about 9-month turnaround to get the stadium built. We had a mild winter in Kansas City that year, thankfully, but it was a good opportunity to get back in baseball. And it was the hottest thing in town. It was a new thing, brand new ballpark. And for me, I just loved the minor league game, just the right size, 6,000-7,000 and right size staff and great opportunity. And little did I know that I would be working there for about 20 years.
You transitioned from the Northern League, and then some things have changed in minor league baseball and independent baseball. Go over some of those changes over the years and how the relationship with Major League Baseball teams and affiliated teams has worked.
Yeah, at the time, independent baseball was very popular, becoming very popular, I should say. And minor league baseball as a whole in the 90s was really booming throughout the country.
Yeah, new stadiums were being built.
New stadiums.
New leagues were being formed.
All the time, yeah. And so there were several startup independent leagues. There was new stadiums being built all around the country in MILB. And then eventually our ownership, I think they went separate ways, and we ended up staying in the Northern League for a few years, and then later joined the American Association, and which is where we are to this day. The Kansas City Monarchs are in the American Association. So, and to this day, after COVID, and the reorganization of Major League Baseball, we were actually a Major League Baseball partner league. We actually work with Major League Baseball directly, and it's been exciting to be involved in that and have some of their help and directives along the way. So in your new role now, you're not working for a team specific; you're working for the league, but your ties that you've had into that league, a lot of those people are still around. And did that make it an easy transition for you to go into what you're doing now? Yeah, I think it really did. Our commissioner, Josh Schaub, has been very successful. He was there when I was GM of the T-Bones. Our deputy commissioner, Josh Buchholz, was the longtime GM of the Fargo Club before he took over in his role, and I think it was 2018. I think he handed me the championship trophy on our field in 2018 when he had transitioned over to the league office. So, I've been fortunate enough to, this will be my third year with the league office, and I manage our sports property division, manage the relationship with about 15 to 20 of our sponsors. And in that role, I work with all our GMs on a daily basis. And again, many of them I've worked with since 2003 or 2004, or maybe the last 10 years, as they've been around minor league baseball in different circles. So yeah, it's been a nice, to be able to, say that I've been in that chair. I kind of know what they're going through, so I can kind of help. But it's great to work with our league office, great to work with our sponsors. I might miss some of the day-to-day functions of the ballpark and the people you meet, but with my kids and my schedule in 2025, you're able to work remotely a lot now, and so it's a great opportunity to work for the league office remotely from Kansas City.
And you mentioned with the American Association of Professional Baseball, their relationship with Major League Baseball and the tie-ins now where players go from the teams in the American Association, they go to affiliated baseball, and there's quite a few over the last few years have gone to the big league. So this is almost, with the reduction of minor league teams, this is almost like another farm team, but instead of for one organization, it's a farm team for the whole league itself in Major League Baseball. For everybody, most definitely. It provides a great opportunity for our players to be signed and seen by major league organizations. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but from playing the game, any opportunity to be seen and get to that next level and get that opportunity to play in the big leagues is so huge. So, it's an exciting platform, and, we're looking forward for our season upcoming in May. What are some of the new things that the American Association is putting into play in 2026? Well, I think there's a lot of things. In fact, I know that our commissioner just got back from the winter meetings down in Orlando, and there's some things they're working on. But I think what you're seeing overall is the
the uptick in streaming and televised games and the ability to get our players on TV in local markets and on a national basis. I think that's one thing. Obviously, you've seen things with the pitch clock.
Are they implementing some of the rules that may be coming to Major League Baseball?
Definitely 100%. And so that's exciting. And for us to kind of test market some of those things, I think you'll see that going forward. And I think that has really helped the game.
And are they talking about adding any franchises as far as expansion in the next few years?
Yes, definitely. I know that our commissioner is working on it daily. I think you'll see some expansion in our league. And certainly in the next couple, 3 to 5 years, I know that there's some projects that are on the horizon, and I think there's some great interest. So I think you'll see that grow. We're currently at 12 teams now, but I think you can definitely see that grow here.
What do you think is the strength of the league, and what kind of things do you envision being able to help out and make the league stronger down the road?
Well, I'm just a part of a team there. We've got great leadership, though. Again, Josh Schaub and Josh Buchholz and our staff. We've got 5 or 6 full-time on the staff. But I think, we've got great ownership. We've got great markets, great stadiums. And so I think we're primed for some great, expansion overall. But I really think we're in a good spot going forward.
And one thing about the league is affordability. People will talk a lot about it's hard to take a family of 4 to a major league ball game, and with the parking and the concessions and the ticket prices and everything going up. And even though Major League Baseball is not at the scale of the other professional sports as far as price-wise, price tag, it still can't be something that people can do. A lot of people can do a whole lot, but the American Association is something that's really affordable and kid-friendly.
Yeah, 100% family-friendly, affordable. In many markets, there's free parking. Tickets are $15 or less. There's fun for families to do everything. You've got the diehard baseball fans. You've got the folks that maybe just want to get out in the community and do something. I think making it affordability and keeping it that way is key to long-term success. And that's the beauty of minor league baseball, I think, is the price point, something for everybody. We used to say for years, affordable family fun. So that's key. And, we love Major League Baseball, but I think there's a niche for minor league baseball. And
speaking of Major League Baseball, with the guests we've had in here before, we've talked about some of the rule changes. You're a baseball fan.
Yeah.
You love the game, love watching it, love the nuances of it. What are some of the rule changes that you like, and what are some of the ones that you can do without?
Well, I would say, surprisingly, I think and this is speaking for Chris Browne, the fan, not an official capacity, but the pitch clock, I think has shortened the games. I don't think it's interrupted it as maybe I thought it might. So I don't know what your thoughts on that is, but I think that's great. To have a game that's under 3 hours or under 2.5 hours is awesome. So I think that's great. So I look forward to that. I'm not so sure I understand, and again, hopefully I don't get in trouble, but limiting the throws to the first base to try to pick somebody off. I get why they're trying to do that, but I don't know if I understand that one. You got to evolve, you got to change, and got to grow the game. I do love the fact that the stolen base is becoming more part of a game. I appreciate that. And the ghost runner, if you will, that's something I will say that we in the American Association years ago and the Northern League, that's something that we adopted back in, I want to say 08 or 09. For several years, we test marketed that. So I'm familiar with that, and that kind of makes sense, certainly at the minor league level, because you can't be playing an extra inning game at 3 a.m. and you got no pitching for the next 3 or 4 or 5 days. So that makes sense to me there. So look forward to see what's on the horizon.
Yeah, it's kind of, for me, it's been one of those things where I didn't like it at first because I thought it messed up the flow. But over the course of time, now I get it and it works. But there's still, like, the bigger bases I don't get. That's a weird one for me, especially with the guys wearing all the hardware and the oven mitts and the things on their hands. You're still gonna have. I think they said they're doing it because of safety issue, but guys slide head first, and you're always going to have some issues there with a bad slide, no matter what the base is. But as you said, trying to evolve the game and it's not for us anymore. You know,
Yeah.
we're true baseball people,
Yep.
so we like it
Yep.
for what it is. But they want to expand, and they're trying to gain more followers from a short attention span generation. So you're going to have to do some things, and I think that's why the Savannah Bananas, you know, something like that is very, very popular because it's quick, the flow is nice, it's high energy.
Yeah.
And those are some things that I think that all leagues can take from one another and implement those things to make the game of baseball better. I just hope that they don't do too much that takes away from the basic parts of how the game's supposed to be played.
Yeah, you don't want to mess with the integrity of the game, but you do got to keep the energy high. You are trying to attract a younger, newer, broader fan base, I guess. You got to grow. So I agree with you 100%. Again, as speaking as a fan, not from a league capacity. I will say one thing I do miss though. BMAC, from the days we grew up and you played in, you know, every now and then. Not promoting any violence, but I miss the manager umpire arguments.
Those are gone.
Yeah,
yes.
I really miss those. You know, in the '80s with Earl Weaver, Billy Martin, and Lou Piniella, you name it. I miss some of those interactions, and as a fan, you kind of want to see that within reason.
I miss the breaking up of double plays.
Yep.
The collisions at home plate, and I know why they don't do that anymore. But those are parts of the game that were taught, that everybody was okay with.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't see hardly any scuffles or fights if a guy broke up a double play the right way, or if you barreled over a catcher, or you did those things the right way. That was just the way the game was played. But the salaries, and you don't want injuries and things like that, I can understand that. But the game, there's some rough edges of the game that I think still need to be there, and that are getting taken away.
Yeah, I would agree. In fact, you might know about the Hal McRae rule. I think we're missing some of that. I agree, because you play the game hard, and there's only if you play the game soft or halfway, you can get injured. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Yeah.
What are your sponsors saying? What are they telling you? What they need from you as a league league exec? Well, when they're coming to you, what are they talking about?
Well, I think everyone's different. We're excited because we're able to build our sponsorship base, if you will, and everybody wants something different. But I think we all want exposure and want their products seen, whether it's on TV, signage, or, you know, as we say, sip to lips. You know, Carbless is a big sponsor of ours. Not to promote one out of the other, but what a great drink, or in the RTD category. But I think, like anything else, everybody wants exposure, and live sports are one thing that drives exposure.
Okay, well, as we finish up, are there any charities or anything that you want to spotlight? That anything that's going on with you, anything that's going on with your kids or whatnot?
Well, I think personally, again, Chris Browne, not from a league capacity, but you know, I feel for the cancer research. I feel for our fallen Royals legend, Al Fitzmaurice. So I think I'd like to spotlight his 3929.com foundation for cancer research. I know that he was well loved in the Kansas City area and really touched a lot of lives on the field and off. What a great guy. And personally, you know, we'd like to spotlight Crohn's research in throughout the country. Kind of a personal.
Well, Chris, thank you for coming on the podcast and spending some time with us. And baseball will be right around the corner. This cold weather gets me thinking spring needs to be here quicker.
It needs to be here quick. BMAC, thanks for having me, and have a day, guys.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us on Have a Day podcast. I'm Brian McRae, and remember, check us out on all our social media platforms and our YouTube channel at Have a Day Podcast. See you soon.